One of the more interesting findings that I have discovered is that the clarity of writing that you have is a strong function of what actually happens with what you're working on as an academic. And this relationship between the clarity of writing and what actually happens with your manuscript, particularly within the social sciences, I find that there's a very strong relationship. It's not about knowing a whole bunch of stuff. It's really about how do you tell a very succinct story. And over the years, I think I'm getting better at it. And I'm able to make things a lot more concise. But a huge part of that is, really working on it and thinking about how to craft a story. And there's something about just the density of what you're trying to say and removing a lot. I often find that, the first time I sort of write something, it is all over the place, in the sense of, it's not necessarily all over the place of, that there is, the ideas are not coherent. It's just that there's not the density of what you're looking for within the ideas. And that's an important thing to look for, is that, is there extraneous words? Is there a lot that's going on that doesn't necessarily need to be there? And it's surprising when you have this sort of sharp eye and you go back and you think about it, how much that you can remove and sort of craft a more straightforward story, a more convincing story. And, it's a matter of, if you start looking at it and you do this, you have this sort of astute eye, you can really take, let's say you have a paper that's, 50, 60 pages long. You could take that and remove that to almost a half, where it's 30, 35 pages long. It's just absolutely amazing that you can possibly do that when you have this sort of astute eye. And partly the reason why I'm doing this, or the reason why I'm building the Reciprocity Project, is because of that it's such an important factor, with my own work and what I've sort of learned, but also, broadly. And so building systems and tools and all those things within the Reciprocity platform, things like, are you, plagiarizing too directly? Are you cutting out extraneous words? All of those kind of things happening in one particular spot, I think is super crazy helpful. And I've been using the platform now for a while, and I'm always surprised in how much of a difference it actually makes with what I'm trying to say. And it's just a lot of sort of thoughtfulness, and it's not necessarily relying on other people, but it's just having that, having another set of eyes, having tools that are available that are not sort of mass market. All of that stuff is very important to sort of catch how you're writing things. That the art of the story is incredibly important. And there's a lot to be said about crafting it such that it becomes more believable. And it's a learned skill, but you also need to have somebody or something sort of help point this out and give you feedback on it. Because it's not necessarily, it doesn't come it's not obvious. It's a completely different thing than what most people are taught. I mean, I was never taught. I was taught to be extravagant with my writing. That's how they teach writing through like, through university. It's this sort of extravagant, fluffy style. But, writing within the academic environment, and more broadly, if you want to become a better writer, it's very dense. Like, you think about everything that you're writing, you think about every word, every line, every paragraph. Do you need to actually have this here? Is this important? And the more that you sort of think about that and craft that story, the more that you actually have your point come across. It is a real slog. It's not only it's not an art in the sense of like it's fluffy, but it's art more of the art of being a good surgeon, where that there is this sort of tacit understanding that you develop over time. And then as we're building these things out, I think on the platform, I think that we can sort of add more and more features that help us sort of spot things. And we're like, we can improve this. This is maybe not the best. And it's important to have those available to know how you're writing and what you're doing. I think all of that is super, super important. And like, listen to me right now, right? Like, if I wanted to actually do a better job of crafting this message, I should go through and cut out probably about half of this podcast. But, it makes such a big difference as you're doing this, of doing a really deep, like, copy edit of what you're writing, what you're doing, so that your point comes through, and really thinking about what is your message going forward. So that's all I wanted to say. Of course, you can go check it out. The Reciprocity platform. Reciprocity, the E is written with a 3. And you could check it out, buy credits and all that kind of stuff, and get some help on what you're working on. It's getting to be pretty impressive as far as I can see, as there's no alternative. It's very helpful. So, all right, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.